Folks, welcome to Real Hawk Talk on a Tuesday night. If you are sick of seeing my face, just imagine how I feel. The third pod of the day just kicking off here, 7 o'clock on the West Coast, and Evan can barely keep his eyes open. This guy is battling some serious jet lag on his trip back from Europe yet again. And I appreciate it. Appreciate seeing both you guys. Jeff's about to board a plane tomorrow, and we're going to all hang out together tomorrow, boys. You looking forward to that?
I'm so excited. I'm so excited, guys. It's been, when was the last time we were all together? Was it us three?
Week one last
year?
year?
Was it week one last year?
Week one last year.
Yes, when Jeff made me horribly uncomfortable shit-talking Broncos fans at another level. Something I had not experienced
I
before.
made you uncomfortable shit-talking Broncos fan? That's your whole brand.
You got more courage in person than I do, buddy. You got more courage.
Brian ordered like 6 drinks to the table before.
Oh, my gosh.
It's true. I will say the waitress from week one of this year remembered me from our time, Evan, and was like, "Oh, so you want your breakfast burrito with no chorizo and avocado?" I was like, "Holy crap, what's happening?" And my buddy and I drank a little bit before this game, but I don't know. I don't know if I can handle what you guys are going to throw at me, tomorrow night or Thursday. I cannot drink before the game Thursday, so don't try. I got to be professional.
But that makes tomorrow night available, is what I mean.
Does. It does. Yeah. Yeah. Guys, I got to kick this off with like some kind of wild things that happened today. And I asked, Clint Kubiak is known as not the most dynamic interviewer, not going to be the guy that you're going to get a lot of big clips from. And I asked him what I thought was a pretty innocent question. And I basically said, is there a rookie wide receiver that Tory Horton reminds you of? And I want to play for you what he said.
Yeah, I'm not going to say his name, but he's had a really solid start to the season. Proud of Tory. Not surprised, just the kind of kid that he is, the way that his parents raised him. He just has a great attitude. He's all about work. He studies hard, and he has some great role models in that room. And it's a long season to go, and no need for Tory to get the big head, and he knows that. That's why he's here. He's just got a special character trait to him in that regard. So just going to keep pushing forward.
So I had the opportunity there to just kind of let it go, but I was like, all right, I'm going to try to give him an out to at least get like a little bit more about this receiver he's comparing him to. But here's what happens. Revealing the player, their characteristics that they share as players.
Okay, well, Justin Jefferson was in Minnesota. He was a really good rookie, and that's rare air. So he's got a long way to go to get there.
He folded with like zero pressure. like you barely applied pressure, and he was like, Justin Jefferson. That's who he looks like.
I did not expect that. That feels like
he folded so quick.
He wanted to say it, right? He wanted to say it.
That's funny.
Yeah, no pressure, Horton.
No pressure. It was funny. It was talking about with Mike Dugar. He's like, yeah, didn't Reek Woolen call him Jerry Rice Jr.? Like, yeah, like, I mean, how many more, like, who's next on the list? We got to add Randy Moss. Like, who else can we add to the pressure list for Tory Horton?
He's I've only watched this is a random side note on Tory Horton. I've only watched a couple of interviews from him. He seems to have like a pretty introverted personality. Yeah, like is that accurate or no?
He's actually he likes the spotlight a little bit. He's not a big personality, but he's definitely not a shrinking violet. I think he's done a bunch of media stuff. He's pretty engaging in those conversations, so I think he's comfortable in the spotlight. Evan, what's happening? That Jeff face, I gotta take a screenshot. He's clearly watching baseball. There's no question to me Jeff is 100%
That was
watching
bad. The
baseball.
Yankees were celebrating with champagne in their locker room. Irks me.
Why are they celebrating with champagne? They haven't won anything yet. Or did
They
they secure a
clinched the
postseason
playoffs.
berth?
It's so stupid. So stupid.
That's
I turned my TV off.
Wait, real quick, since we're just a bunch of buddies talking ball, are the Mariners like officially in the playoffs? Is that like a thing?
It's not official yet, but I'm glad you asked, Evan, because the Tigers lost today, which has reduced the Mariners' magic number to 3 for clinching a bye in the playoffs. So if the Mariners, who are playing the worst team in baseball tonight, if they win, it goes down to 2. And then the Mariners have 2 more games against the worst team in baseball. That they win those 2, they clinch a bye to the second round of the playoffs. Evan, have the highest odds to win the World Series this year.
Guys, come on, guys, come on.
It's true. It's true.
But is there a scenario where they miss the playoffs? Is that a possibility or no?
Yes, it's there
Okay.
still is. Yes.
Okay.
You must feel like you're in some sort of bizarro world where Sam Darnold is like the highest ranked quarterback in the NFL, and the Mariners are the World Series favorites.
Boys, this past weekend was one of the best Seattle sports weekends in recent memory. Oh my God. Like the Mariners games, the Seahawks game. I mean, I'm telling you, like I wrote about it my morning after, and it's not just a plug for that, but I got down there early to get there to pregame with my friend. And I'm walking through Soto. Like I see T-Mobile Park. It's like raining and misting. It was like a weird day. And you could feel it. Like there was a palpable energy in Soto at 8 a.m. on Sunday, where it's like, it's been a really long time since either of those stadiums saw meaningful like sports.
Mm-hmm.
And you could just feel like T-Mobile is going to blow up for the Mariners. And then the Seahawks, they didn't fumble it. They hit their own grand slam on Sunday. And it's like, all right, hype train is like just starting to creak off up the tracks, right?
When was the last time you were that relaxed during a Seahawks game after the first quarter?
I mean, probably 2012 when they beat the Cardinals 58-0. Like it's been a long time.
I've never had my heart rate so low during the Seahawks game ever. That was it was cathartic almost, honestly.
It wasn't even just that. You guys watched the Rams like lose in the most excruciating way possible, right?
I did.
Yep.
Yep. I mean, that was like to lose on 2 blocked field goals and have that one returned for a touchdown by a 335-pound nose tackle. That was just delicious, man. Because did you guys think the Rams looked like the better team?
I think so. Yeah. Stafford is playing honestly like out of his mind, like through 3 weeks this year. I think a lot of folks expected him to not only struggle with injuries, but like he didn't play good football last year. Like he was inaccurate and he wasn't progressing through his reads super consistently, reliably. Like he showed up and sort of balled out the first few weeks here. And his connection with Devontae Adams and Puka seems elite, frankly. So glad they lost. Thank God. Just wish the Niners had lost too. I'm so annoyed the Cardinals could not pull that off.
Did you watch any of that game?
The Cardinals
49ers?
No, I did not. No.
Jeff, did you see any of it?
No, I've read a lot of the bloggers. The vibe around the Cardinals is really weird right now.
Dude.
It's bad.
Yeah, like I would have thought like, okay, they're 2-1. They showed like some battle tested last game. Their Calais Campbell looked great. And the vibe around them is like, I saw so many of them react to your DVOA tweet, and they're like, oh, we're in trouble this week. Like the talk around Kyler and the offensive coordinator. I didn't realize they were at that point already. They're 1 field goal away from 3-0. It was surprising.
Cardinals fans are talking about coaching changes.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of Drew Petzing stuff, and they've seemed to turn the honeymoon over for Jonathan Gannon. I've seen a lot of. I had no idea they were at that point. I don't get it.
Look at that Cardinals team and think it's the coaching. like how many coaches can Kyler Murray have where like Josh Cashman's out there still probably like praying at the altar of Kyler Murray. And the altar is about this big, by the way.
Okay, but hold up. I actually don't think Kyler Murray has been like their top issue.
No, he's not.
Through 3 weeks.
He's not. So you're right. Marvin Harrison Jr. had a Reek Woolen game against the 49ers.
Terrible.
He lost them the game in the same kind of like 2 egregiously bad plays. Shouldn't have happened. 100%. It doesn't change my opinion of Kyler Murray, man.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, Kyler Murray is definitely overpaid. He's like in the 50 millions or something, ACV per year, something like that, right? Playing way too much Call of Duty on the weekends, but like I saw a stat that they've had their receivers drop like I think it was like 9 or 10 should have been like catchable balls through 3 weeks. So there's a lot of heat on that Petzing offensive coordinator for them, but like their receivers guys are dropping some pretty like wide open sort of walking touchdowns. Dude, that
Jeff, I want to hear from you on this, but here's the number that broke me down. Jackson Smith-Njigba has 323 yards receiving, right?
Yeah.
All Cardinals wide receivers have 200 and some, like 200 and just over 200 yards receiving. That is nuts.
And the thing I've seen a lot from the Cardinals bloggers and even some guys who cover the league, like John Ledyard, who's kind of a blogger, goes on Mina's show sometimes, is last year the people who watched the film noticed receiver was a problem for them. And obviously they were expecting Marvin to take a big jump in year 2. But the thing that's shocked a lot of these bloggers is they didn't address it at all. Zay Jones is kind of a guy at this point. And has Michael Wilson is a complimentary player. They've had all this draft capital, and they took Marvin Harrison over Malik Neighbors, who's maybe the best young receiver in the league. Joe Alt, who's maybe the best tackle right now this year. They didn't address the position, and between Kyler and Petzing, and I think on the defensive side, things have been pretty promising before some of these injuries, but the whole receiver and the whole offensive structure is just bizarre. And yeah, I never thought about it really all offseason. It's like, yeah, they didn't do anything at receiver. It was all banking on Marvin stepping forward, and I don't know. There's so much talk about the Seahawks receiver group. Maybe that was kind of misguided.
Marvin Harrison Jr. guys is sorry, Brian. He is.
No, go ahead.
He is public enemy number 1 here. Public enemy number 1.
It's got to be uncomfortable. They took him 4th overall.
Exactly, especially with like the legacy with his dad and his family. Like, there's just so much hype around, or there was so much hype around.
That draft was loaded. Like
that
was look at this year's draft versus last year. Like that draft was full of blue chip players.
Yeah, that's who I think should be on the hot seat as the GM.
Yeah,
like there's some they were flush, Jeff. I mean, they were flush with draft capital, and they friggin' blew it. Max Melton doesn't look like a player. I don't think Trey Benson looks like a player. Trey Benson's got like a couple explosive runs. He's got a 52-yard run and a 29-yard run. He's averaging like 2 yards a carry on every other run. Like he's, I don't know. I think that they blew it. Although Paris Johnson Jr. is looking good. Here's the thing, guys. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. I don't like that the line is flipped to the Seahawks being favorites. I don't like it that we're all positive on Sam Darnold. We're all positive on Clint Kubiak. We're all positive on Byron Murphy and the defense and the special teams. And we're positive about how we beat the Cardinals every time we play them. And I don't like it at all. Like, it just feels like it's going to be harder than it should be on Thursday.
So what if they fly down to Glendale and just take care of the Cardinals in all 3 phases like they did with the Saints? What if this is I'll lower my voice for you. The Seattle Seahawks. I'm just kidding. No, but seriously, what if they put together like a second dominant win in a row? Like, I mean, hype train full speed.
It would be amazing. I mean, Jeff, what would get you most excited in this game? Like, what if the Seahawks do the X? What would get you excited?
if the offense could just dominate Arizona. Because when I watch the Cardinals defensive line, they look pretty good. Like, I know you were taking a shot at the GM there. Like, Calais Campbell's been unreal for them. Josh Sweat's been pretty good. San Francisco had a lot of trouble blocking them. Dominic Pooney allowed a safety because he couldn't block them. And Calais Campbell apparently was just tossing them around. And so for the Seahawks, whose offensive line has been very different than what I would have thought, they're far better in pass protection. They haven't been good at run blocking. I would have guessed the exact opposite. If you can come in and just control the line of scrimmage on offense, because we've seen the defense take down Kyler twice last year, and their whole thing was they had this amazing running game, and the Seahawks destroyed them. Connor was like 7 for 8. We never saw them look like there was a game with Charbonnet running the ball last year, that was their best offensive performance all around last year. But if they can, like last week, they were super efficient, but they can come out and just control the line of scrimmage on offense. The pass protection looks really good, and Sam Darnold keeps playing really well. I think that would really, and they can get back to running the ball. Like Ken Walker had some big runs against that defensive line. I think that would encourage me more than anything that's going on now.
Yeah, Sam Darnold is a topic for me, guys. I need to know where you're at on Sam Darnold.
I know where some folks on Twitter were after week 1.
Yeah. I got a lot of arguments with people.
So that by that, it sounds like you're already pretty cozy that you don't think that those people are going to have their day. You think it's already a settled matter.
What is a settled matter? That
Sam Darnold is good.
I feel very confident that Sam Darnold is good.
Do you feel very confident that Sam Darnold's an upgrade?
For 3 weeks and seeing what Geno Smith just did on what was it, Monday Night Football last week or 2 weeks ago, I'm sitting pretty happy right now.
Look, I think we all have the thought in our mind that like he might turn to pumpkin any week, but watching him has been very comfortable, and he's some of the things he was knocked from. Brian, I'll give you credit. You were kind of pushing back on some of this stuff. Like the play he makes early in the game where it's an unblocked rusher. He just gets out, calmly flips the ball over. I heard Hasselbeck talking with you today. That's high-level stuff. And the whole knock on Darnold was, if you get pressure in this face, this guy's going to crumble. That 100%. Was the time. And I think the overall picture is I don't think people know as much about quarterbacking as they think they do. And this is kind of what I was saying. A lot of this isn't predictive. And if football was predictive, it would be a much simpler sport. But all the things we thought we know, all these people were on the ringer were like, they downgraded. Darnold's going to suck behind that offensive line. It's only 3 weeks, but those look like horrible takes so far.
Let me just add one quick thing here onto what you're saying, Jeff. I think the biggest shock for me through 3 weeks is like Sam is way more athletic than I think I realized.
Yeah.
When the pressure hits, like I'm still not over that evading the pressure and hitting AJ Barner scramble to the left. What was that? The Steelers game? My brain's literally not even working right now. That was insane. Like, he did it again in the Saints game to JSN on the left side as well of the field. Like, I think that was early in the first quarter. Like
first drive, first
yeah,
play.
First drive. He's doing things that, like he's making plays, out of structure that I did not think he could make, frankly. And if that's an aspect of his game that he can sustain, he's going to be very dangerous this year. He really is.
So I'm glad you guys brought this up because I asked Cooper Kupp today, like, do you think it is like knowing that he's evaded these free rushers? Do you think that the critique of his game that he can't handle pressure is fair? And here's what Cooper had to say.
No, I don't think that was a fair critique. I mean, I think that everyone pulls that from, 2 games last year when, there's a lot of factors that go into those things, like watch the games, go watch the games with a football understanding of what's being called, what's being done, the positions that Sam's being put in, the positions that the offense was in terms of what the situation was for the game. I don't think it's a fair critique for him. But I mean, owning up to like Sam, owning up to and just saying, "Oh yeah, I can be better." Like, yeah, I love that. Like, that's the awesome thing about Sam. Sam's not going to sit here and say, "Oh, there's all these other excuses or things like that." But I'll sit here and say there's a bunch of other things going on for Sam that people don't want to talk about because it's not like maybe you don't either you don't understand it or you're not or it's not as fun to talk about. It's not as divisive to talk about. But he has a plan, man. When there's something there, when there's a plan set up for him, understanding where his options are and his ability to just get through things quickly and know that, hey, there's an issue here. I need to get to something. He's been great. As long as he's been here, at least he's been awesome with it.
So I don't know if you guys heard what I heard. That was a pretty sharp critique of people that have been piling on Sam Darnold about those games. And from the guy that was on the other side of one of those games, right? He was on the Rams last year when they dismantled that Vikings offense. And we heard it from, I think Daniel Jeremiah said something similar. Like, I think it's kind of like, if you know ball, you don't come away from watching those games and say that was all on Sam Darnold.
Yeah, and there's a reason the Vikings signed a new left guard, a new center, a new right guard. They obviously had some inclination of what happened there. They replaced all three interior starters this year. So I don't know if that was a shot at their offensive line. I don't know if it was a shot at Kevin O'Connell, who Kupp was with in LA. There's probably more there than I would realize. But it's funny, the people who were the hardest on him were like the self-proclaimed ball knowers, and very interesting to hear that Kupp had that perspective. Obviously, they're teammates now, but yeah, I think just back to what Evan were saying before, that's what struck me the most so far, how calm he's been under pressure. I thought that play that Evan just referenced was Pittsburgh game was, I just didn't know he had that in the bag. Like, I was talking on our pregame or in preseason predictions, like, I think this is going to be like a Jimmy Garoppolo kind of guy. I thought it'd be fine. I thought they'd be a heavy run team. He'd run play action. I talked about Matt Schaub. When you watch Darnold, the thing that's really struck me and Kupp feels so comfortable is his tools and his athleticism there's a reason he was drafted in the top 5. And you see his downfield accuracy and you see his arm strength. And I think what Kupp's been so impressed with is just when things are set up for him, right? Like we're seeing, he looks like a high-level athlete. And I heard John Middlecoff saying the same thing on Colin Cowherd's show. It's like you see how good his arm is. His arm is live. And when you think about it, he is a good athlete. It's a pretty exciting quarterback prospect for a guy we all thought was kind of a dud.
Evan, if I told you that Sam Darnold was going to be your starting quarterback for the next 3 years, how would you feel about that?
I think going into that assumption, or if you're telling me that statement, I think I'm going to make the assumption that Seattle makes a deep playoff run either this year or next, and that leaves me feeling very comfortable, particularly on the contract that they signed him for. I mean, this guy is in the low 30s ACV per year. I think with some incentives to move up a little bit, but I don't think there's a quarterback who's isn't he PFF's number 1 graded quarterback through 3 weeks? There's not a player in the NFL being talked about less who is playing as well as he is right now.
That's because nobody wants to. No, he is the frozen lake. Nobody wants to venture out into the middle because they don't believe he's going to hold their weight.
I watched the Athletic Football Show, guys, this past week. Not a word about how well Sam Darnold is playing, or at least maybe I missed it. But it's not
2 weeks in a row from that show. I listened to them do a recap of week 2. They didn't say a single thing about the Seahawks. The whole thing was about Caleb Johnson blowing it and how the Steelers blew it.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? Fine. Like, let's just break this barrier on our own. Let's be
100%.
good. on our own and let everybody sleep on this team. And let's hope that, like, look, we were all excited going into the season, and then it was, what the hell was that? But the last 2 weeks have been like, okay, that's what we signed up for. I'm a little trepidatious about the fact that I think the Steelers defense is pretty bad, and I think that the Saints defense is pretty bad, and I think the Seahawks are going to be playing better defenses most of the rest of the way.
Mm-hmm.
I also just think that what I've seen from Sam Darnold looks like a good NFL quarterback. I'm not going to say he's like top 5 or any of those stupid rankings things, but he looks like a quarterback you can win a division with.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who don't want to touch this subject with a 10-foot pole. And frankly, I think a lot of people who are rooting against Sam Darnold in Seattle. So I don't know. I mean, it's funny. When he signed this deal in the offseason, I think everybody, like including myself, frankly, were like, oh, there's an easy out here after 1 year. And I feel like that was a reasonable, sort of assessment, contractually, financially, and then later with the draft, obviously, and drafting and bringing in Jalen Milroe. But now I'm starting to look at like his numbers for the next couple of years, and I'm like, this kid could be our starter for the next 3, 4, 5 years. Like, if he's playing like this, like you don't let this guy walk out the door. It's why Mike Macdonald was laughing at Sock on their Brock and Sock show. Like, he's playing really well, and we'll see if he sustains it. But, better competition is coming. But I thought he played well against the Niners defense too. I really do. So we'll see. We'll see.
Jeff, if it works out with Sam Darnold, and we can decide what working out looks like, is there anyone that can point to a better set of moves from a GM than signing Sam Darnold to that deal, to grabbing Darian Kendrick off waivers from the Rams, pulling Josh Jobe off the street last year, drafting Byron Murphy last year, drafting Gray Zabel this year? That's a lot of freaking W's. Tory Horton this year. Like,
meanwhile, Pete Carroll is like bringing in Stone Forsythe, Jamal Adams, and like drafting a running back like in the top 5. There's some indictments that are going to be coming down here, boys, pretty soon. If this continues, there's going to be, I'm going to take some victory laps. Just going to be honest with you guys.
I know you are. That's the way.
I wasn't going there. I was certainly not going there. Evan just did it.
I don't care anymore. This is ridiculous.
Well, and the guy who went right after Genty with the Jets looks like one of the best right tackles in the league.
Armand Membu.
And the Raider, and I add to what Evan's saying, the Raiders' offensive line, which looks disastrous. Do you know who the coach of their offensive line is, Evan?
I actually don't. Who is it? Don't say it's Tom Cable.
It's not. It's Pete's son, Brennan. So Evan's favorite subject over the years. So a lot of people today were like, they need to fire their offensive line coach. And some of the guys I thought were like, I don't think you guys know who the O-line coach is. Oh,
yeah.
But anyway, I'll answer Brian's question.
Please. Thank you.
Yeah. Wow. Schneider's done some frustrating things still. And obviously we've highlighted it on this show more than anyone, but my God, the little things they've done, and him and Mike Macdonald have really come together, I think, personnel wise. And I think we saw it with the end of the Pete year where the coaching staff and the front office were not meshing. They're bringing players that didn't fit the right system. We didn't know who was running the draft. We see they draft a running back. All of a sudden, the Seahawks stopped drafting running backs high. Jamal Adams gets signed with the Raiders. I wonder who made that deal. All kinds of different things. The offseason last year was rough. It seemed like they had to figure each other out, and they've all talked about this. But now they've really meshed. I think that they've really meshed with the offensive staff. The moves are just so much more coherent. And then Byron Murphy's a guy I think they were both very aligned on. I think they talked about that last year with one of the national guys. That's looking way better. Leonard Williams, the signing, is Daniel Jeremiah said he's a big reason why Murphy's playing so well. And these cornerback pickups, and it's not just Schneider. I think Macdonald credited Carl Scott, who coached him at Alabama, recruited him at Alabama. So you're seeing the whole thing work really well. And Kendrick, like, that's brilliant, man. Like, they have not missed Devin Witherspoon, which I hope people don't say is a knock on Witherspoon. I think it's just a pro with how good they're. And even though I was banging the table to trade for Jalen Ramsey because I didn't feel comfortable with Josh Jobe. It's a big L for me. Josh Jobe, you would way rather have Josh Jobe than pay $20-30 million, give up a pick. I was worried about that. Big L for me, big win for the team. And that's why it's easy for us to have these takes. I'm happy to take L's where I'm wrong. And again, Kendrick was a guy I was like, why aren't they signing Shaq Griffin back? Like, you would way rather have that young guy who's ascending. And I think you can argue the Rams lost the game because they didn't have Kendrick. And they got burned by their corner depth. And I think it's those little things that the Seahawks have kind of lost over the years. But like, one of the best things they did was they found DJ Reed off the street when their cornerback group was going to shit. And this kind of feels like some DJ Reed kind of moves, and that helped a lot.
Can I read you guys something? Now, Evan, this is might get you excited, so just keep it PG. This is from Next Gen Stats, and I will just say, I'll preface this as like ESPN and PFF. Everyone's got their different ways that they track their play-by-play data. So, but this is from the NFL itself. So take that for what it's worth.
Deep erotic voice. Let's go. Let's start.
Okay. 4 out of the 5 starting Seahawks offensive linemen rank within the top 7 for lowest pressure rate allowed at their position. That includes Gray Zabel, who is not allowed a pressure in 80 pass block snaps this season, making him the only offensive lineman in the NFL with at least 25 pass blocks and a 0.0% pressure rate. Center Jalen Sundell has a 2.7% pressure rate, which is 4th among centers. Charles Cross has a 6.5% pressure rate, with his 5th. Right tackle Abe Lucas has a 6.3% pressure rate, which is 7th. And guard Anthony Bradford has a 5% pressure rate, which is still well above the league average of 6.3. Last year, 4 Seahawks offensive linemen had the 5 highest pressure rates at their position. You okay? You still with me?
Yeah, I'm just having flashbacks to like the Bradley Sowell, Jamarcus Webb. Like, we've come so far.
I think I've just blacked out.
It only took like 16 years to have a competent offensive line, but we're here. And
how much do you love that Gray Zabel's a shit talker too?
I love it. I absolutely love it.
I mean,
he
him
feels
drawing
like
that flag on the first series, the headbutt. I loved it, man. I loved, and Sam Darnold today was joking. He's like, yeah, he's a pretty good shit talker. Like, dude, I think it's nice to feel like things are going. How many times, Jeff, did we talk in preseason about different Seahawks? They're like, if this happens, Quentin Dunbar, if he can be this, and like all these things, you're like, if this
Bill Haynes
and nothing, it would just be the worst possible. Like, we thought that secondary was going to be top 5 in the NFL, and it was like bottom 5, like the opposite of what we wanted. Everything we've like wished into reality. Mike Macdonald being the coach, being good in turning the defense around, you know, being a run-oriented team, getting a fullback like you wanted, that's big and bruising, and becoming a like trenches-based team. Like, how many things have we asked for that are now here, right? This is not just like they're 2-1 and they won a blowout. It's like, I think we're all bought into the vision here, right?
Well, if you want to feel better about, I think Evan caught on to this, and I didn't realize this was such a thing, but that For You page today is showing me 1 million Ravens fans, and they are just.
Thank you for bringing this up, Jeff.
I had no idea this was such a thing. And they gave up 38 points to Detroit last night, and they're sitting here like, I can't believe we let this dude out of the building. And they're watching how the Seahawks are playing, and that defense is emerging. Mm-hmm. And they got this defense that might be the thing that holds them back from winning the Super Bowl. And maybe I'm just not following the right people, but dude, did you know that was like a huge, like they got John Harbaugh there, like they're playoff, they're like a contender that we're all trying to become. Like, did you realize there's this like Mike Macdonald envy going on?
If you go to the Ravens subreddit, if you look at any Ravens blogger, it is those memes of like the guy laying on the bed with the storybooklet, like crying, and it's a zoomed in picture of Mike Macdonald in like a buff t-shirt. And, this is one of the most successful franchises in the NFL with an MVP quarterback in his prime. And, a story, a fairy tale sort of head coach, but it's a testament, I think, to the quality of not just Mike Macdonald as a head coach, but also the trajectory I think that he has this franchise going in. There's a lot to be excited about. I remember having these offseason discussions with you guys, whereas like we have these players who are kind of like good, but we're not sure if they're great yet. We're seeing these guys reach their full potential. Guys like Byron Murphy, Derek Hall, Boye Mafe, these random corners that they're picking up off the street. Joe, PFF's like number one graded corner through 3 weeks. Like, this is what we prayed for. and it's happening. So
it's pretty amazing. It's pretty excuse me, I'm getting choked up. I realize what time it is, and we got to get through some Patreon questions and get to our predictions and picks. We got some super chats as well. So let's get to this. All right. Patreon.com/Hawkbloggers, where you can sign up, get access to the Discord server, where we have a special channel just for patrons to ask us questions each and every week. Let's do it. Okay, Evan, this one's for you. Redgraw asks, will we see Coach on the next season of Dancing with the Stars? I don't know if you know there's a reference here, but did you see the video of him in the middle of the locker room? Like, everyone's freaking out, and he's like moonwalking out of there.
He's such an awkward little nerd, and I honestly kind of love it. Like, Mike is just who he is. Like, he's not pretending to be something he ain't. And I think that I love those like windows into the locker room after a game like that. I just think it shows how culturally bought in everybody is into this team and in this locker room. And, moving on from Pete, I know everybody hates when I bring this up, but like one of the things Pete was great at, right, was culture building, one of his greatest traits. And I think we were really nervous to move off of that. And Mike seems to be building a really fun, similarly healthy culture in Seattle. So I'm really excited about what's happening.
Love it. Jeff from Nolan says, despite our edge being able to generate a lot of pressures, does it concern you that they haven't been able to finish them off when at sacks? If not, when will it become a concern?
It is a concern. I think we talked about it in our post-game show. It's obviously great they're generating pressure, and pressure, I said it on Sunday, pressure is more predictive historically than getting sacks. But at some point, you got to take down the quarterback. And like Derek Hall, if you look at him and see 0 sacks, someone might come saying they're not playing well, but I think Derek Hall's playing, like Evan said, really well. But at some point, you're going to have to sack the guy. And look at who the leading guys at the end of the year are, the sack guys. It's Bosa and Parsons and Trey Hendrickson. It's not like guys out of the blue, Nick Bonito, all of a sudden is generating a lot of pressure. Yeah, at some point, you need to be sacked. Like if they could have sacked Brock Purdy, they probably would have won week 1. And it's definitely a concern. I think if you're thinking of what's the thing that's going to hold this team back from being a good team to a great team, I think it's getting more pressure from the edge group. And I think it's getting more sacks. So I definitely think it's a fair concern. And it's definitely something that will help take this team from, again, last week, they dominated the game, but 1 sack. And I think they need more. I think they need more. And they're playing one of the toughest quarterbacks to sack this week. So I think it's a big deal.
I have to know. I'm taking you guys on a quick tangent, Evan and Jeff. This is my question, not from patrons. If you were a 49ers fan, and I mean genuinely, not like a tongue-in-cheek, if you were a 49ers fan, do you think the right move for the 49ers is to go trade for like a Trey Hendrickson? Do you think that like they're in a position where that's the right move?
I do.
You do.
You really think like, okay, can you sell me on it, Jeff? What's your idea?
I just think with McCaffrey and Trent Williams and Warner, I think this is the end of the window for them. I think they've added some young guys, which is encouraging. But I think once you pull Trent Williams and McCaffrey and Kittle out of there, I think it's going to take some time to build it back up. And look, Saleh's doing a great job. And you can say they got so many young guys, why rush it? But I think they got to try to maximize with that schedule they have. They should try to maximize what they have because they have Michael Williams, who's like complimentary, but He doesn't really work if there's not the alpha there. I think they need that.
I'm not convinced the window is still open, Jeff. Like I'm not convinced this team can stay healthy. You know, Nick Bosa obviously went down this week for the season.
So they're certainly not healthy right now.
Yeah, but I guess what I'm saying is like Trent Williams is not who Trent Williams was, right? Like I'm not confident Christian McCaffrey can last the year fully healthy. I am impressed with what Saleh is doing on the defensive side of the ball, especially with some of their rookies. But I just everybody's really hyped on the Niners, and I know I'm a hater. I'm seeing a lot of like the Athletic boys are really hyped on the Niners. Like
they're like such a underwhelming 3-0 team.
Yeah. I think it would be the last like death rattle for that team to go get a Trey Hendrickson. I just don't think they're that team. Now, I really think Brock Purdy's good. Like, we're not going to turn this into a 49ers thing, but I think Brock Purdy's going to come back and be a really good player for them and help them, and they're going to win plenty of games. I don't think they can go toe-to-toe with the Rams. I don't think they can go toe-to-toe with the Packers. Like, I don't think they're that team. And ultimately, when the Seahawks at the end of the season, if things go the way I think we hope, I don't know that they're going to go toe-to-toe with the Seahawks, like, when all's said and done. So,
clip me right now. The Niners are not finishing in the first two spots in the NFC West.
They might just because of how their schedule. Their schedule is so bad. And like I think when Purdy comes back, I think they might even win 12 games just because of how light that schedule is. But I think when we get to the playoffs, and I think the 49ers are going to make the playoffs, I think because of Saleh, I wouldn't have said they would before the year.
Yeah.
But like Brian said, when we get to the playoffs, I don't know if they're going to have the chance to beat Green Bay or the Rams. When they were kicking the other day and they were up 3 quarters, I was horrified of them. I haven't felt that way of San Francisco at all.
Green Bay doesn't look so scary after this weekend.
Oh my God. Well, and
I'm saying it's a week-to-week league, man.
Yeah. The reason I was asking that is because I don't think even with Hendrickson that they're really a contender. And then you will have traded away maybe a first-round pick and more to not be a contender.
Oh, like, I think it'd be much less than that.
Yeah, maybe so at this point. Who knows?
Yeah.
But
if it's a first-round pick, I completely changed my answer.
Got it. Okay. All right. Let's keep going with Patreon questions. Warrior Muffin. This one is a question for you, Evan. Has modern fandom changed the way we treat players? Would Reek have been as harshly villainized by his own fan base in the past?
Brian, can I flip that back at you? You've been a fan from the first season, right? Can you?
I want you to answer that one. This is a good one for you, dude. Do you feel like? No, I have not been a fan since the first season, bastard. Although I was born right around then.
Wait, I thought that was true. 70.
No. They started in 76. I was born 75, and I didn't become a Seahawks fan until like the mid-80s.
Okay, I'm hallucinating. I'm tired. Do I think it's? I think social media has made it worse. Absolutely. Like I think, amplifying and circling in on somebody's mistakes. I mean, it would still be a big deal, but like, I mean, there probably wouldn't be at Evan Hill HB like screenshotting and zooming in on Tariq Woolen unable to catch a football, like, 3 screenshots consecutively. So Twitter accounts like that probably don't help the scenario at all. So I think the answer is short and simple. It has made things worse, probably.
All right, Jeff, this is from Amy Holmes. Hello, Amy. Says, what are your thoughts about the carousel of 70-man players? It seems like the team is keeping all of them paid and happy guys in and out of the 53 and the ready squad.
Yeah, I asked you the other day when we were talking. So I think it was our Saturday show. I was trying to figure out what they're going on there, and I still haven't quite figured it out. It seems to be something to maximize the pay of those bubble players. I think Cody White's dad is like an executive with the Steelers, so I'm sure they have a pretty good idea of how this works, or else some people might not be down for this. But yeah, it just seems like a way to really maximize kind of those guys. And I know the Seahawks have gone credit, and people have talked about just how well they treat their guys, especially those fringe players. And it seems like they have an agreement with Shaq Griffin, and it seems like it's just a way to really maximize how to get the most pay when they're active by a certain day. So when I first saw it, I'm like, they're really dicking this guy around. I don't know if that's the right word, but it seems like I read that one a little bit wrong. And again, I didn't realize what's his name, Jacardia, right? Got hurt the other day. And so there's been some moving parts, and they've had all these injuries in the secondary, so they've had to move a little bit around. But yeah, the way the whole White thing is just, I think it's just a way to maximize his pay and thank him for the hard work he's done.
Yeah, I had a good conversation with Bob Condotta about this today, and I actually think part of it is, so one, if they're on the roster like Tuesday of the week, they get the 53-man pay. So they're getting, I think, multiple guys kind of 53-man salaries for those weeks. And by using that, they have kind of like a shuttle spot, like the 53rd spot. By doing that, they don't have to elevate them. So they're not burning practice squad elevations, right? By moving a guy onto the 53.
Smart.
So they have that in reserve because you only get to activate someone from the practice squad 3 times or elevate someone from the practice squad 3 times before you have to, pull them up. So I think that's what they're doing. And I think it's actually kind of innovative. I don't know. Maybe other teams have always done this, but the Seahawks haven't. So that's kind of cool. All right. Jeff, I'm coming back to you with this one. Tim Streetbow says, what's the best secondary combination when Eamon and Spoon are healthy? Given the emergence of Kendrick at nickel and Job on the outside, is Reek headed to the bench?
I don't think so. I think the best combination still, I haven't seen Eamon, so I saw him for 2 plays or 3 plays. I think they're going to have different nickel packages, right? There's some teams they're going to play big nickel against, and there's some teams where having Job and Woolen outside with Spoon in the slot is going to make the most sense. And so I think the great part is we don't need to know that answer. They can mix and match based on their matchups, based on how they're playing. The versatility they have is excellent. And now they can go dime. They can do a lot more things where it's not like traditional nickel where everyone thinks you just have to have this guy here against certain teams. The big nickel is a huge advantage, and you want Eamon on the field. You drafted him essentially as like a fringe first round pick. But I don't think Woolen's head to the bench. I think he's quietly been pretty good the last 2 games. And I think you can really mix and match stuff, and you're going to want to have Kendrick on the field at times for sure. I think it's a real luxury for them.
I think it'd be really, really cool. One of the best things that could happen this Thursday, if Nicky Manwari muscles up against Trey McBride and looks like a good matchup for him, picks off a ball, forces a fumble, something like that. That'd be pretty sweet. All right, let's get 2 more patron questions, and then we'll get to picks and get you guys out of here. So Sam Brown asks, I'll ask this of you, Evan. Who do you think is more to blame for the run game getting off to a slower start than we've liked, the running backs or the offensive line?
I think it's option C, Fred Warner from week 1. No, that's a good question. I don't know. Do you guys have a take on this? I don't know if I have a strong opinion here.
I think it's a combination of offensive line. It's going to take time to run block. But I think teams are really selling out to stop the run. I think knowing how Seattle's built and they see they don't have great dynamic receivers. Like I noticed in the Saints' first drive, and I even texted you guys, like they got to start passing on early downs, and they did it. They got a touchdown. I think teams are really sending their linebackers, and they're just outnumbering them a lot. And I noticed with Pittsburgh, you saw them shoot the gaps. Fred Warner and D. Winters were great. I think it's the way they're game planning them because of what we saw in the preseason, the Kubiak offense. I think it's why the passing game's been a lot better than we thought. I think they're really selling out. I think obviously the offensive line is a big part of, like we've seen clips of them not run blocking particularly well. I think that's going to take more time than I was hoping for, but I think it's really how teams are attacking them that's put them in that spot where they seem outnumbered a lot.
I agree, Jeff. Last question here. This is for you, Jeff. Did John Schneider, actually, Evan, if you have thoughts on this, did John Schneider make a mistake not extending Charles Cross this offseason, given his upward trajectory in his first 3 seasons and where he's playing now?
The earlier you do this, the better. So the more you wait, we've seen this with the Dallas Cowboys, the more you're going to pay. And again, we've pleaded for this for years. They finally do with Lucas, but I don't think there's that much of a jump between what he would have got now versus what he would have got. I think no matter what, because of his age, he's going to get top of the market left tackle money. I think it's going to be relatively flat. So with the 5th-year option, it does buy you time. I think it's going to cost a lot, and you might as well. I don't think it'll be that much of a cost savings by waiting.
All right.
I'll just add I think you're 100% correct, Jeff. Like, I think draft stock plays a pivotal role here as well, being a top first-round pick. And I just think if they had extended him early, or if they wait, and get it done later, like the difference is only going to be a few $1 million a year. Like this guy was always going to get paid top of the market. I really feel that way. So.
All right. Those are our questions from patrons, patreon.com/hawkblogger. You can ask us questions each and every week, get ad-free audio, access to the Discord server, and verified over at hptix.com. Patreon.com/hawkblogger. All right. Before we get to our picks, a couple super chats here. Justin JJ says, any update on Robbie Oots? No update other than he was still listed as did not participate. The practice reports are weird on Thursday night games. They actually just did a walkthrough today, so it's just an estimate. Best guess is he's not going to play, if that's what they're saying. So we'll learn more, but that's the latest. Pyro Griffin says, I can't even explain why the Cards are favored, LOL. Well, they were favored when I woke up this morning. They are no longer favored. The Seahawks are favored in this game. It flipped hard today. I think the Seahawks are 1.5-point favorites last time I looked. Justin JJ again says, Evan, does Charbonnet change your mind on the run?
Not 100% sure what that is asking. I think I made a tweet like after week 1 or something that we needed to see more Charbonnet, and then Kenneth Walker immediately has like one of his best games in Pittsburgh. I'm not really sure what the question is asking, but they should just go with the hot hand, I think. And Charbonnet seems healthy now, right?
That's the idea. I think they said listed him as a full participant for whatever that's worth. Jaden K says, what are your thoughts on the virtual measurement system through 3 weeks? I haven't seen it. Every time it gets close to first down, they just give it. The virtual measurement system is ass. It sucks. It's slow. It's slower than old men running out with chains to measure it. It's embarrassing. As someone who's in technology, it is like the worst example of technology. It should not be a step backwards. It should not be slow. You should not notice it. It looks like egregious, like they just decided to do something using technology for the sake of it and not to actually improve anything. So it's awful. Zachary says, I'm not surprised Sam is becoming a successful QB in the NFL. Teams and fans give up on talented QBs too soon, especially after being with bad teams coaching. The evidence is mounting that way, guys. There are a lot of Daniel Jones is not like Sam Darnold's not the only one that left New York and is looking great. Gino's done it. Sam's done it. And Daniel Jones might be the latest, although I'm not willing to bet on Daniel Jones. I just am not with that face. Slarty Bogarty says, what's going on with the decorative mouthpieces? Do you guys know what they're talking about? I don't know if I know.
Nope.
I don't know. So I can't tell you because I don't think I know what you're talking about. All right, let's do picks here. Looking at the Sleeper app, we've got a few things to choose from, boys. JSN, man, 80.5 yards receiving. Like, it just goes up every week. You've got Kyler Murray, 30.5 rushing yards. Ken Walker is going to have a touchdown. Sam Darnold, 216 yards passing. Tory Horton, 21.5 receiving yards. That one jumps out, yeah?
Wait, should it be scrolling or something?
Oh, you guys aren't seeing this. What's going on?
No.
Hold on.
But CJ Gardner-Johnson got released, it looks like.
He did.
That's the only thing we're seeing.
Okay, hold on. Let's see if I can make this work again. That's annoying.
Josh chooses the over on Kyler Murray rushing and total yardage.
It's still not showing the right thing. Hold on, guys. Why is that? All right.
Technology. Supposed to be
all right,
good.
you guys talk amongst yourself for a second, and I will get this this fixed momentarily.
Jeff, what section are you sitting in the stadium? Oh wait, are you in my section?
I think I'm in your section. I think you.
Oh wait, did I bully you into that? Wait, I totally
You told me it's where I want to sit.
Oh hell yes! Okay, now I get to see you denigrate other fans in front of me again.
So what's the vibe like in there? Is it like? Do you feel like are you where you?
It is a home game for the Seattle Seahawks every single year. I'm not kidding. When we meet up on Thursday, you'll see like on the tailgating scene outside of State Farm and Westgate, dude, Seahawks fans run this show here. The Cardinals fans do not exist here. They're not a thing.
Well,
Right.
I'll tell you why I know they're not, because I got a call this week from the Arizona Cardinals asking me to buy season tickets. I even wrote the guy a snarky thing. He called me and then sent me an email. I'm like, well, I live in Toronto and I'm probably not your best client, but
it seems like a bad investment, dude. It seems like a bad investment. All right, let's do our picks here. So now you guys should be able to see. Yes, you're seeing scrolling.
yeah, now we're.
All right, so Sam Darnold, 216 yards. Tory Horton, 21.5 receiving yards.
Ooh, I like that one.
Over.
Yeah, let's pick that. The more on that one. Cooper Kupp at 42.5. That's kind of high. AJ Barner, 16.5 receiving yards. By the way, quick little trivia. AJ Barner has 2 explosive receptions on the year. DK Metcalf has 3. AJ Barner has been targeted 6 times.
You don't want a guy making $33 million a year that's getting 30 yards a game.
Zach Charbonnet, Elijah Arroyo touchdowns, George Halani touchdowns. I mean, what are we thinking here? Any of these things jumping out to you guys? What about on the Cardinals side? Are we thinking Marvin Harrison Jr.? I would go over 46.5 receiving.
Wow, that's
Under.
a low number.
You guys are under.
Under.
No, I'd probably
right.
take the over.
I feel like I would take the over because he's gonna be so motivated. They're gonna try to feed him the ball.
What's Benson's rushing yards? Does it say?
Let's see what we got for rushing yards. 59.5.
I might go under.
I think I'd go
absolutely. Do you guys realize how bad the Cardinals' offensive line is? Their guards are like bottom 5 in the NFL.
I was gonna ask you, Brian, how is that offensive line doing?
It's funny. When I wrote my tail of the tape article and I looked at it, so it depends on where you look at your metrics, but ESPN has them as the 9th best run block win rate. PFF has them as the 28th.
Yeah, they're not top 10.
And if you look at their DVOA, they're like a 30th ranked rushing team. So they've been really. I mean, James Conner before he got hurt had his career low average yards per carry.
I drafted in one of my fantasy leagues. It was going bad.
They've got our guy Evan Brown starting in left guard, I believe.
I know.
So
we've got Tory Horton more than 21.5 receiving yards. We've got Marvin Harrison Jr. under 46.5 and Trey Benson under 59.5 rushing yards. I think those are decent. And if you guys haven't downloaded the Sleeper app, now is a great time to do it. Great place to get real-time updates on your fantasy football or any sports that you like. You can hang out with your buddies. And if you use promo code HAWKS, you'll get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. All right, guys. Now it's time for our picks. Our picks for this game. Prediction time. Jeff, you go first. What is the score of this game?
I think it's going to be closer than I like it to be. I think Arizona's D-line's pretty good. I hope I'm completely wrong on this, and this is a party like last week. But I think the Thursday night, this is a big spot for Darnold, too. Like, national TV. A lot of people are doubting. I think Seattle does win because I like just Mike Macdonald over Kyler Murray. I just feel pretty good about that matchup. So I say 23-16 Seattle.
Evan.
The Arizona Cardinals offense is completely and utterly struggling. Marvin Harrison Jr. is not a fan favorite right now, to be very, very generous and charitable in my assessment of him. James Conner, unfortunately, went down for the season. Their offensive line is struggling mightily to run block. Both guards are bottom 5 in run blocking in the NFL. Fun fact, per PFF run blocking grades, every starter has taken – or let me put it this way. Every run blocking grade across every position on the offensive line is worse than it was last year. Their success rate is like 19th in the NFL. And although they have I think top 3 rushing yards in the NFL, their yards per carry is like 3.1 or 2. They're not running the football very well at all. I don't have confidence in their offensive coordinator, and I don't have confidence in Kyler Murray to overcome those obstacles. So I think Seattle's run defense, which hasn't given up a single rushing touchdown yet through 3 weeks. I think they're the only rushing defense in the NFL have done that so far, is not going to let up. That number is going to continue to be 0 after week 4, and I think Seattle wins this game. My God, guys,
do it.
They're gonna dick them down. They really are. It's gonna be 35. It's gonna be 35-7 Seahawks.
Whoa.
It's gonna. And you guys remember that 2-week back-to-back Bills and Cardinals Legion of Boom
Toronto.
in Toronto, smacked the living crap out of them. I'm not saying this team is the Legion of Boom or anything like that, of course, but I do think there's going to be a back-to-back scenario here, and the hype train is going to leave the station. So,
wow,
that's my call.
From your mouth to God's ears, my friend. Here's where I'm at, guys. I'm still got a little bit more to do for my tail of the tape review, my first look tomorrow. Everything about this matchup tells me that the Seahawks should win comfortably.
Don't doubt yourself. Don't doubt yourself, Brian.
They have advantages in all sorts of places, and I can't really point to here's the clear place that the Cardinals have an actionable advantage that's going to allow them to do big things. I can't point to that. I also just a big believer in divisional games Thursday night being tough. And I think this is going to be gross. I think it's going to be frustrating, and we're going to be down to the wire. And I've got the Seahawks winning this, but I've got it at 17-16. I think it's going to be an absolute, what the hell did we just see? But it's going to be a win. That's what I've got. And I think I will just point out, I'm not bad luck anymore. I picked them to beat the Saints, and they did. So my streak of being wrong on everything this season has been broken. But that's what I've got. We got 3 of us picking the Seahawks to win. And, man, we'll be there. We'll be there to see it together. So, boys, I will see you tomorrow. Hopefully, Evan will get you out tomorrow night if you can manage to stay awake. Jeff, eager to see you and your lovely wife. And everybody else, I will see you probably around 3 o'clock tomorrow for Hawk Blogger Mornings, Hawk Blogger Afternoons in that case, with Bo Brack as we do first look, breaking it down. Until then, Evan Hill at Evan Hill HB, Jeff Simmons at Real Jeff Simmons. I'm Brian Emhauser. This has been another episode of Real Hawk Talk. Take care.